welcome to Grab the Remote. Your host, Jared and Emmanuel here from the Grab Some Popcorn podcast, here to do a review of a movie that was on streaming though. So this is not a theatrical movie. This is a movie that's on streaming. We just watched The Wrecking Crew on Amazon Prime, starring Jason Momoa. You know him from Aquaman, and David Bautista. Probably know him from Guardians of the Galaxy. He's played Drax for a while. And this movie was an action comedy. Right off the bat, I could tell it was giving like that classic two brothers, two cut from different type of cloth type in the movie. So you had David Bautista. He was like
the military guy.
Yeah, he was in the Navy. Straight edge. He's got a family. He's got a house, you know. He went on the straight edge path. And then you got Jason Momoa's character.
He's like a drunk.
Yeah, he's like a wild boy. He's a cop. He has a job and everything. But you could just tell he's just a little bit more on the wild side. Like, he's not as disciplined as David Bautista's character.
Yeah.
So the movie starts off basically a guy is stumbling through it was like a restaurant or something.
Like a flea market.
Yeah, and he goes out the back and he's ran over, and it looks like a hit and run, but it also looks like a murder. So that's like the plot of the movie. He's the father to Jason and David's characters, and they're investigating what happened basically during the movie, like why the father was killed, and they uncover a lot. So the movie takes place in Hawaii, and yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it was a lot of great action in this movie for sure. A lot of good action scenes. It was funny. I thought that they played their roles well. And the story, it was pretty basic, but I mean, it was good.
Yeah, I don't think it has to be like too overly complex to be a good movie. Like, I liked it because it was just kind of like it was like a no-brainer. It didn't have like a super complex plot or like a super, it wasn't like super hard to follow to where you have to watch it twice. It was a nice, easy watch, nice, relaxing watch, just a simple, not too many, just the right amount of characters. It had its funny moments. I think it had some good funny moments.
So basically what happened was the father was killed by this guy. His name is Marcus. What was his name? Robichaud? Yeah, Marcus Robichaud.
Yeah.
And he was just like running these illegal like land development type things, and he was also in cahoots with the Yakuza. Yeah, the Yakuza, and he just had a criminal enterprise going. So basically his wife thought that he was cheating, so she had him investigated, and the investigator happened to be Walter, who was the father that we just spoke of that died in the alleged hit and run, which was actually a murder. So yeah, the wife had Robichaud investigated, and during the investigation, all this information was found out, and he basically was killed for discovering the plot. And that was basically the plot of the movie. They figure it out, and you know how movies go. Eventually, they get the guy. But I will say, this movie had a lot of great action scenes. We saw some things in this movie that we usually don't see in action movies, like the use of a cheese grater. Now, if anyone has ever seen, I was trying to figure it out too, because I went to go Google it like mid-movie. Like, has a cheese grater ever been used on someone in an action movie before? And it did say that in The Green Mile, which is not an action movie, by the way, but apparently there was a cheese grater that was used in The Green Mile. Now, I feel like there's no way John Wick didn't use a cheese grater at least once in one of those John Wick movies, but I I can't really, I know he did something with a pencil once that was really memorable,
Yeah.
but cheese grater, I don't think so. It would have to be John Wick or someone or one of Jason Statham's. If someone knows and you're listening, if you made it to this point of the review and you know of a cheese grater in a movie that was used, please let us know in the comments, but I don't think anyone did.
Yeah, because I remember that moment perfectly. It was like right in the beginning, some Yakuza show up at Jason Momoa's front door. He has no idea why they're there, and so they get into a huge tussle. And in one of the scenes, he like puts this guy's arm on the kitchen, like on the kitchen bar. He picks up a cheese grater and he literally starts grating his arm. And I was like, holy hell. Like I literally said something. I was like, holy hell. I've never seen a cheese grater. So props for this movie for having something unique that you don't see every day, in an action sequence. Like I was like, a cheese grater, like holy moly.
There was also the scene on the bridge, and rest in peace to all the innocent people that died in that scene, because that was incredible. I mean, it's just usually in action movies, like when there's a shootout or something, they try not to like kill innocent people, but this movie killed innocent people with no remorse. I mean, who knows? It could have been families in those vans, and they were just packed up like it was nothing. But there was one scene on that bridge that was really nice when his arm got caught on the guardrail and then just came clean off.
Yeah,
I don't think I ever seen that in a movie either. Like in a car, like, I don't want to say chase, but I mean,
I have seen an arm get torn off, but not like they were like literally riding a highway guardrail and they were holding onto this guy's arm and it literally tears off from the pressure of being pressed against the highway guardrail. That was also one thing. That was also one of the scenes where I was like, holy hell, like his arm like peeled clean off. I was like, that was really cool.
Yeah. So, and I think there might have been a couple more scenes.
I remember that part that it was the same scene on the highway, and you've got like a really badass cop was probably like 25 years experience and like a Navy SEAL, like a lieutenant colonel in the Navy. And then they get this little lady. He's like, let her drive. Remember that? And she was just Maria McCarran's character. She drive. That's like a helicopter.
Oh, you know her name? You know that actress's name?
Yeah, I think her name's Miranda McCarran.
Why do you just know that?
Because she's been in a lot of stuff as of recently. Like I've read about her, and
she did look familiar. I didn't lie. She looks like someone I've seen before. But go ahead.
Yeah, I've seen her on social media and everything. Like I can't really put my finger on where I've seen her, but but anyway, but like these two like badass like military cop guys, and they tell her, they're like, hey, let her drive. And both me and Jared were like, wait a minute, what do you mean her drive? And all of a sudden she busts out like they're in like this Chrysler.
Became a professional driver out of nowhere with only being in the movie prior for 5 minutes. And all she did was break up with Jason Momoa in the beginning.
Yeah, she turns into like this super action stunt car driver. She's like using the handbrake, doing like U's, going in reverse. We're like, holy heck, like she drives better than the main action stars.
Yeah, there was a couple silly things in this movie. I mean, that and the whole grenade from World War I just working perfectly off the first pull.
It's a 100-year-old grenade.
Yeah, and it just worked effortlessly. So, I mean, but honestly, I feel like for this movie, it didn't really take itself too seriously anyway. So I feel like those type of little silly things just make the movie funnier, and it's a comedy, and it was funny. I mean, this movie was funny. I laughed through. I didn't burst out laughing, but it was humorous. And the two main actors of this movie aren't even comedians, and I think they were funnier than Paul Rudd and Jack Black and Anaconda. Like, this movie's way funnier than that movie. And that movie was supposed to be like, I mean, this movie's an action comedy. That movie's like an action.
Like a horror comedy.
Yeah, but that movie just wasn't funny. Sorry, but this movie was way funnier and a
Yeah.
little bit more entertaining too. For like the thin plot that it had of just, oh, private investigator, he found some evidence and got killed. Like a very thin plot, but the action was good, the comedy was there, the actors, like they played their roles, like they were who they were, or who they were supposed to be. So even though it's like they didn't have a lot to work with, they still made the movie fun. I hate saying that about movies, but it was just, a fun ride for sure. And one thing I was thinking about while I was watching this movie, because you have David Bautista, you've got Jason Momoa, you've got the actress that you said, you got the dude, I'm sorry, I'm not remembering anyone's name, but the bald dude from Spider-Man. You've got great actors, okay? You've got a great location. They shot this movie in Hawaii.
True, down in Hawaii.
You've got Amazon behind it, so there's obviously a budget if they're shooting in Hawaii and they've got a couple A-list actors. Why do you think a movie like this doesn't get into the theater? Like, what's stopping it? What do you think?
No, I mean, just sometimes, maybe the right people who wrote it, or maybe even though it was the Amazon team who like came up with the idea, wrote the script, and so that obviously if it was based on like someone who wrote it from Amazon, they weren't going to shoot it for it. They were going to release it on Amazon.
Yeah, okay, I see, like an in-house thing. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, because I mean, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, why isn't this in the theater? But also, maybe it's just not like you said, maybe it's not in the theater because they want to keep it in house. They get more money that way, better ROI than trying to put something like this in the theater. So yeah, it definitely makes sense. But
The Asian guy from the movie we're talking about, his name is Jacob Batalon.
oh, okay,
He's a Filipino American. Yeah, he plays Ned in
Spider-Man. Yeah, shout out to Jacob Batalon. He was funny in this movie too. I've seen him in some other things too besides Spider-Man. He was in that Tarot movie. That was a horror movie, low-key horror movie that came out that actually did well in the box office. And I enjoyed it for what it was, for sure. But anyway, overall, I mean, this movie was solid. I would give it a 7 out of 10. And I do recommend it. Like, if you have Amazon Prime, watch it. If you got your little pirate site or whatever, watch it there. But definitely watch this movie. It's just a fun, entertaining movie. What about you, sir?
Yeah, I couldn't give it an A, so I'm gonna nitpick on some things on why I wouldn't give it an A. It's got great action. It's got good comedy. It was a nice, easy, fun ride. The thing I'm gonna nitpick on the most was some of the CGI that I saw. Some of the CGI I saw on the bridge was it was exaggerated. And so I've done some CGI, some video work to where they should have made that look realistic, more realistic. That's what I thought. I thought some of those scenes on that bridge, like those helicopters and stuff, should have been more realistic. It looked like it was floating rather than crashing. And so that couldn't get an A because I think the CGI would have had to been better. And again, one other thing I want to nitpick on, great movie, but one other thing I want to nitpick on is that last scene on the bridge where it was Jason Momoa's character and the main bad guy who killed their dad. He's trying to get away on a boat, and they get into a hand-to-hand fight scene between Jason Momoa and his character, and yet again he kicks Jason Momoa. So basically, Jason Momoa's character is down. The other guy, the bad guy, has the gun, and he starts doing another one of those Hollywood long speeches. He starts talking about, oh, how you'll never win. Some guy like you will never beat a guy like me. And he sits there and talks, holding a gun for 30 seconds. I was like, bro, if this was real life, there's no 30-second speech. If you pick up a gun and then someone's trying to kill you and you get a hold of a gun, you just shoot right away. There's no long cinematic speech, and yet this movie had to have one. So anyway, my score overall, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. It was a really good movie. Few small nitpicks. Couldn't get an A, but it was a great movie. Would recommend to watch.
All right, sir. Well, that's our review for The Wrecking Crew. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Be sure to check this one out on Amazon Prime. Make sure to leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Let us know what you think of the review. And be sure to like and subscribe as well. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. And we'll see you on our next review.